Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 17, and today's mantra is shine. Um, any of us who are parents, we all know that at a certain point, especially like when kids are teens, they really stop listening to everything that you say. And what they do keep doing, however, is they watch you. So they're constantly watching what you do and they are absorbing what you do. They are from birth, right? But it becomes, it's always powerful. Like if you've modeled bad behavior when children are young, then that kind of manifests when they go to school, that sort of thing. So it's really important, this idea of kind of just being the light of the room. When you think about that, you can always be the soul of any room that you enter. You can always be the shining light of any situation that you enter. And it's a quiet calm. It's not a neon billboard. It doesn't mean that you have to finger wag or stick your face in somebody else's face. People notice when you shine. So I want to really start with a powerful quote that I absolutely love. Sorry, it's right here. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. When we think about 21 days of green, what we really need is to drive out ignorance and complacency and bad habits, right? And we're going to see it everywhere we go. If your eyes are woken up, you're going to see it everywhere you go, right? And people we all want to stay in our habits and our comfort zone. I'm amazed every day at the new thing that I have to learn. Just today or yesterday, it was how dirty West Virginia's grid was. I had no idea that the chairman of our energy policy in the Senate is in the dirtiest state in the United States. I had no idea it was that bad. I thought they might be, at least, you know, 10%, 15% renewables, not 93.5% fossil fuels and 83% of that coal. I had no idea, right? I had no idea a year ago that not, if we were using regular toilet paper, that some companies were chopping down old growth forests. So information is really vital, but at the same time, if we're constantly yammering at our friends, they just stop listening like teens do. So it's important for us to shine and to be the example and let our actions carry the weight of what needs to happen. We absolutely have to enlighten folks. We need to point them in the right direction. We need to give tips and pointers, but it can't be confrontational. It can't be constant. Our own commitment can be constant and noteworthy. So that's where this idea of shining comes in. So today I want, every time, let today be a quiet day. Let today be a day where it's more about inner reflection and also illumination, right? If you are around folks and you have a reusable coffee container, if you're around folks and you're carrying a backpack instead of a bunch of plastic bags, if you're around folks and you're shopping at the organic food at the farmers market, um, instead of conventional food at the grocery store, you know this is something that people are going to take note of, and think that maybe you have a chance in a conversation to illuminate with one or two bits of wisdom. Not more than that, it becomes a lecture, then they shut down, right? So you have to, and again, it can't be finger wagging like you should blah blah, blah, but it can be, composting is easy. If you would like to learn more, I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. Or hey, why don't we take the stairs? Right? It can be that simple. Why don't we take the stairs? Again, a lot of the days that we're leading up to this are helpful for today. right? The lean into the power of yes. Instead of saying, don't do that, we could say, why not do this? Instead of saying, don't use that disposable single-use cup, we might say, hey, look at that. The reusable cup is only $1 more. See what I'm saying is that we can find creative ways to not only shine, but also illuminate and shine a light on the ignorance and naivete and bad habits without being confrontational and finger wagging. And that's the goal today. Mostly to shine by being the example, like being that light that enters a dark room. But again, the darkness in the world today has a lot to do with partisanship, politics, misinformation, ignorance, and habits. And in order to shine a light on that, it does require illumination. It does require us speaking up and speaking out. Okay. So think about how you can shine a little brighter and shine a light into the darkness of ignorance, complacency, bad habits, partisanship, how we can break this up. The most powerful allies are going to be fiscally responsible people who are maybe newer to this movement. Those can be really powerful because if they start speaking up and speaking out to their representatives, many of whom may still be taking big checks from polluters, then this could be the needle can be moved faster even. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't approach, look, I know a lot of people who are self-professed environmentalists, maybe even work in the environmental movement, and are too much of the problem and make excuses about their behavior. It's easy to do, right? It's easy to do because we feel like we have to provide for ourselves and our family. And even if we're driving an hour a day commute, and let's say we had an EV in West Virginia, we now know that that's not necessarily clean at all. If it's all powered by fossil fuels, that's not clean. There's a lot of CO2 emissions going into the power of that vehicle. So this story is complicated, but it becomes like a big giant sun of epiphanies when you get the truth and when you really understand what's happening. So, go through all of the things that we've talked about how not to be an energy hog, how not to have energy vampires in your house, how not to be, a single-use person, working from home if you can, at least a few days a week so that you can reduce your CO2 emissions that are transmitted by the car, using passive house technology to power your home better so that you're not heating and cooling the outside air. That could be as simple as, maybe caulking better or better insulation, or, checking around the doors and windows are usually where a lot of leaks occur, particularly if it's an older house. So a couple of things that I'm going to include in this one in the comment section. One is this article, and this is a house that I toured in upstate New York. They only had to turn on the heating twice in the frigid winter. So, it's interesting because when you think about it, our bodies are 98.6 degrees and our comfort level is about 72. You put enough bodies in a room that's well insulated and it gets hot, so hot you have to open a door, even if it's frigid outside. So, understanding just some of the laws of thermodynamics. Again, you don't have to go back to school or get your degree in physics. It's easier than that. It's just basic stuff that we should all know. And it will definitely transform our lives. But the wisdom means that we could actually reduce our CO2 emissions dramatically by that 30% this year in all those areas and have still a fantastic lifestyle. Because when you think about it, if you're not driving and a long commute, that's more time for your family and things you love. That's also less money to the gasoline station, right? So you're getting a huge dividend by that powerful choice that you're making. And when you do that and others see that, you are shining a light. And they might even ask you, why did you do that? Why'd you switch to riding a bike to work? And you could say, my goal this year is reducing my personal emissions by 30% so that we can limit our global warming and not reach that tipping point of no return. That's a pretty, they're gonna wanna know what the heck you're talking about if you say that. All right, thank you again for getting this far, and be brave and be bold and shine. See you tomorrow.